Yo YouTube, it's your boy CC and ButterGod here with the Week 8 Pool A LLL recap. Yeah, it's the final week. Insane to say that, but it's the final week and things are really falling into place right now. We are heading into playoffs and it's super tight. There are still 5 people that can make playoffs with only 3 tickets left. And as you can see on screen, with the help of movie magic, yeah, these are the current standings. Yeah, very interesting to see how things turn out. And as you can see, SBAB did some catching up and finally ended up on top right now. Nebula and Volt Ninja have the same record, so it's super tight. 3 teams are 6-1, so the seeding could be very different in the final standings. And if you take a look at Random Creep, he's 4-3. Creator Sum is 4-3. Those are safe players. But Fishy Roads, Leo Justice, 2x Flying, and Excalibur are all at 3 and 4, which is insane. Super tight, like I said. PTK also has a chance of playoffs, but unfortunately Vlone and Delta are out of playoffs right now. But like I said, a lot of things can happen, and we are looking at the schedule for this week. Big first seed SBAB has to take on Fishy Roads for an interesting matchup right there. Fishy kind of has to win to confirm that he is in playoffs, but could still make it if it comes down to it, but that's differential, of course. Then it's Nebula versus PTK. PTK has to win, very important for him, but unfortunately scheduling issues have arrived, so yikes, that could be an issue for him. Then heading into Volt versus Delta, also a match that could end in a forfeit. A lot of dicey scheduling issue this week. That's a recurring theme, don't worry. It's just week 8 shit. Then it's Excalibur versus Random Creep. Very tight match. Excalibur has to win if he wants to make playoffs, while Random Creep, of course, wants to keep a good seed. A 4th seed he is right now is a pretty good seed, so I think he really wants to fight for that as well. Creator has to face Leo. Leo really needs to step up. He's very on the edge of getting out of playoffs. But yeah, that's the case for a lot of people right now. So Leo has to win, wants to win, and he's really improved form recently, so he could pick up that team. And then it's Flying versus Vlone. And yeah, Vlone as well with some scheduling issues. So honestly, a lot of forfeits are going to happen, and that's a recurring theme this week, like I said. But without further ado, let's jump into the first game.
Hello ladies and gents, I am the one and only the ButterGod, and I'm taking over CC's moment for a second. So here we are with SBAB versus Fishy. Both of these players have already guaranteed their playoff spots, but as SBAB wins, he can guarantee himself the #1 seed. But of course, Fishy's very strong Sun team probably isn't going to try and let that happen. Sandy Shocks living on 1 HP, Nemad must love that play. He is a huge Sandy Shocks supporter. Words are hard. And then the absolute audacity of SBAB right here, of pressing Dragon Dance in front of a Roaring Moon. Ocean would be so proud of that play. And then clicking Substitute on the Clear Smog. Again, fantastic plays by SBAB here. Incredible player, and I would hate to go against him in the playoffs. SBAB does manage to sweep here and ends the game in a 3-0 victory.
Okay, so turns out PTK Nebula ended up in a forfeit win in Nebula's favor. And the next match, Delta Volt, is also a forfeit win. It's Volt who's taking the forfeit win over Delta, so yeah, awkward intermission. With PTK out of the picture, of course, things are really looking up for Excalibur if he wins this week, and he has to face a very tough opponent in the form of Random Creep. And in a match where Random Creep really brought some heat, this Calm Mind Draining Kiss Masprit was such a creative set, but facing a Psych Up Dusclops, a very cool set. Psych Up with main look. Excalibur really tried his best this week, but just the matchup as well was really in Creep's favor, and that's nothing to scoff at for Random Creep. Just a player that has been just a nuisance. I feel like 4th is even, it feels like a lower seed because Excalibur has just had such an amazing season. And unfortunately, Excalibur's team was just chipped down bit by bit, especially because of that great Maspred set. Zamazenta just proved to be so big of an issue, and unfortunately, it was an obstacle that Excalibur could not overcome. Normally, I'd say that his faith was up to God, or something like that, but unfortunately, due to the differential in this league, it kind of means that Excalibur, because of this 5-0 that's happened right here, he cannot make playoffs anymore. So unfortunately, this is where it all ends for Excalibur, and it kind of means that the other people, Fishy Rose, Leo Justice, and Flying, are all safe for playoffs based on this match alone. Dude, it was so tight for Excalibur, and he proved himself week after week that he was a tough opponent. He picked up some good wins as well, played Dustclops way better than I think anyone would have played Dustclops, but unfortunately his season ends here after this 5-0 loss versus Random Creep.
On to our game of the week. So, our game of the week is Creator versus my teammate Leo Justice. And some things I'd like to point out immediately are the Breloom has a pretty decent matchup here outside the Lugia. Breloom can do a lot of work. Lugia is going to be probably a bit of a struggle for it, and Namorous is going to be a bit of a struggle. Overall, it's probably going to do pretty well. Palkia, there's no resist for its dual stabs. Landorus, again, very strong mon. Gafai, I'm looking forward to, just the fast pivot. Priority parting shot is a great thing. Mandamus might be doing something, but Mandamus seems kind of here. I could see Ursulina Blood Moon or Landorus doing very good things as always. Landorus is always a good mon. Magiona doesn't actually have the best matchup here. It beats a Namorous really hard, but if a Namorous doesn't come, Magiona can probably be freely sacked. And then on the side of Creator, we have a ton of very powerful options. All of those top 5 could easily come and do work. We could also easily see a Jirachi or an Overqrill just coming in and pressing the buttons. Now, let's take a look at the actual gameplay. So again, looking immediately at these teams, Leo brought Electivire and Swadloon. Absolutely hilarious. And then on the side of Creator, we see a pretty standard team. There's no Namorous, but I can kind of understand it because Mag shuts it down so hard, and Mag was almost a guaranteed bring just because most players are always bringing their #1 mon. So again, looking at Leo, it looks like pretty standard. Both sides look pretty standard, so we're gonna see how this game goes. Swadloon lead, we love the bartender, versus Dialga. Not the best of matchups. Magiona takes, oh no, Magiona doesn't take, Magiona takes Stealth Rocks, and then takes 84% to a Fire Blast. Ow! Dialga then takes, of course, 90% back, so it's pretty even, but he has to switch out, save the Magiona for a later sack. That's a quite bulky Palkia, because that's a very strong Dialga. It's a 150 special attack stat. Even with the resist, the Adamant Crystal, I think it is boosting that even further. And that's a stab move that hits really hard. So we have the League of Legends player, the Overqrill, versus Palkia. Now, the substitute on the Toxic, very good plays. Some incredible substitutes we've seen this week. But you can't make the mistake, Creator, of putting Black Sludge on a mon you're going to terrestrialize. And now Palkia's already killed 2 things, and it's surviving this body slam. So it's gonna do more damage. It's gonna deal a good 50% or so to Jirachi here. Bit of a slow game right here, just things playing it safe. Substituting again, pivoting out into a Lugia. Lugia cannot be killed by Palkia, and if this is a calm mindset, it will be very scary. Which it is. Now, multi-scale is gone, so it will be doing more damage, but this Lugia probably's got a recover. It's probably got potentially an Aeroblast or a Psyshock, something strong. Grafia comes in, On the absurd Earth Power read, Leo is our tier leader for a reason with plays like that. Goes for an Encore, but it fails because he switches out. Parting Shot into the Bartender. We love our Bartender. Flip turn, he goes to his Rapid Spinner, Great Tusk, and it's like, haha, I'm gonna stop you. Does 50%, gets Giga Drain for 57, and most of it gets healed right back. Sticky Webs do go up as well, but the Lugia gets off of a cover, but not before Leo, but after Leo Baton passes into Grafai, getting, again, just keeping that momentum. Leo is playing so well here, he's keeping the pace on his side. He still has all 6 Mons of his left and ready to go hard. Of course, now that I say that, he sacks the Magearna. So, that was quite unlucky, honestly, the Wish. That's a very good final move for him. If I was Leo, I might have put some more speed in that Magearna, but maybe it wouldn't have survived that, the Electrify then. A U-turn coming out from the Jirachi, and Electivire now is just gonna start hitting things. It lives the Earth Power, incredibly impressive feat for an Electivire. And he just keeps clicking Wild Charge till it dies. It's a very Emboar-based death. Breloom comes in. I love me a good Breloom, but Leo's kind of ready for that Lugia. He's like, you know what? I don't fear this Lugia. And he's right not to, because he gets the greedy Calm Mind read correct, clicks Rock Tomb. I'm betting Creator had safety goggles, so he was thinking he was safe for a turn against a Spore, and he was in fact not. Now Great Tusk comes in, clicks Ice Spinner. I'm kind of surprised Leo didn't Mach Punch there just for damage. We know he had it, but I guess he thought he might have been faster or something. Palkia comes in, Spatial Vends, cleans it up. Now we start to see a scary Mon come in here, Palafin. This Palafin is really scary, but 65% of it is gone. Because of that, this is, I'm pretty sure, a choice band on the Palafin. So we're gonna see, because he likes to switch out to keep his move changing. Knock off on the Jirachi. I think that might have been a misplay, honestly, but also getting the changing up your item or changing up your attack is a very important thing here. Swadloon comes in, takes 20% from the Jet Punch, surviving, and then killing the Palafin back. Palafin and Great Tusk, both Mons that apparently have horrible matchups into this little Swadloon. Overall, I think, I don't know if we're doing Mon of the Week, but I'm gonna say mine. I've got to give it to the Swadloon. Stopping Great Tusk from doing nonsense, stopping Palafin. I also just love when a 1-point Mon like this actually goes a bit wild and stops the 20-point Mons from doing nonsense. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you later.
Oh yeah, the Return of the Sheep, Flown versus Flying, is also a forfeit. It's a forfeit win in favor of Flying. So this means that the final ranking is upon us, and now we are taking a look at that final ranking. It is Asbab at first place, followed by Nebula and Volt Ninja. All of them are 7-1, such a good record. Just barely with differential deciding the ranking between them. 3 very big dogs in this competition, and I'm wondering who it is who's going to come out on top, or is it another surprise other seed? We have Random Creep, for example, with 5-3 record at 4th place. We have Creator of Some 4-4 at 5th, Leo Justice 4-4 at 6th, and 2 times Flying 4-4 at 7th. A lot of 4-4s out here, and there is still one player that is managed to slip into playoffs, and that's Fishy Road, barely squeezing in there, but just by the skin of their teeth managed to get to playoffs. And with that ranking out of the way, I want to shout out the 4 people that did not make playoffs. Of course, Excalibur, dude, you were so close. And usually 3 and 5 is just enough for players, and in this case it's just based on differential, it's not enough. And that's a rough way to go, of course, but you were a very good opponent versus a lot of matchups. I feel like you had a very solid team, but you kind of sometimes did not feel connected with that team, so try to get used to a team. So for example, really do the calcs and such. I feel like you know the format and then you are experienced with it. Just prove to yourself that you know the mons and you know what to do with them. For example, that Dusclops. I don't think that anyone played Dusclops better in the history of Pokemon than you did. So keep that going. Keep those strengths for the next season, and I know you will end up at playoffs if you want to. PTK, wow, that offensive team of yours, it was a nuisance for a lot of people to really face. They sometimes managed to get around it, but it was always fun to see that psychic offense. And you just brought all fun offensive sets in general, so it was always fun to see. Delta, you wanted to win once, and you did. That's the main thing you take away from this. You wanted to win once, so not to go 0-8. And I feel like that victory is something to cling on to. Maybe some in the future really come up with a draft plan. Take something that's very comfortable, and something that I really want to press on is that draft something with a little bit more flexibility. It's not just offense. Just I feel like balance fits you way more. So draft a little bit more of a balanced playstyle, so you have a lot of more options than just those mons that you know are gonna do the same things week after week. So kind of take that to heart. And Flown, of course, you had to step in for Alice. So you've barely been here. I don't know what to say. Congrats with the one win. I don't feel like you were really in here for playoffs. So yeah, I think it's more so a shout out to Alice. Alice, that match versus Leo as well, so good. But Flown, just a great guy to step in whenever he needed to. So that's, props. Yeah, I don't have anything more to say. But with that out of the way, let's take a look at the playoff picture. And the playoff picture looks like the following. Yeah, oh, great. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful graph. It's SBEP versus Fishy Roads. That's a very cool matchup, seeing as that's the last match that both of these players played in the regular season. So they know each other's teams. They've prepped against each other. And now they have to face off again. So is SBEP going to do it again? Or does Fishy know what SBEP can bring and now really adapt to it? So it's really interesting. It's always interesting to see those rematches, but back-to-back is insane. That's wild. So it's a cool first matchup. It's Random Creep or Random Hero versus Creator of Some. Cool matchup, very creative team builders, and I'm hyped to see actually what's gonna happen. A lot of cool outcomes that I'm sure I'm not even seeing right now, but two creative team builders I love to see go up against each other. And then it's Nebula versus 2x Flying. Nebula, you were such a dominant force this season, and Flying has proven himself to be able to beat tough opponents. So, dude, I'm very interested to see what happens. I've got no clue actually. And the last match is Volt Ninja versus Leo Justice. Oh, what a match. We're talking about Zacian versus Magirna as well. Some very top dogs going up against each other. So team-wise, that's insane, bro. That's insane. And I've seen some matches where Volt Ninja was really cooking. And of course, Leo Justice is known as one of the biggest cooks in this entire competition. So, dude, a lot of very, very cool matchups. And I'm looking forward to it. And I know Butter is as well. So, Butter and I just want to thank you for the amount of time that you watched our videos and such. Next week is going to be playoffs, which is insane to say. But I hope you guys tune in for that as well. But with that out of the way, I'm just going to head out of here. And I want to say goodbye. Bye-bye-bye.